everyone, I'm Joe.
I'm Taryn.
I'm Bart.
I'm Gio, and you're watching
AskTheFeels.
And today we have a crazy question from Cosmic Fire.
Hey guys, I was just wondering what your opinions were on porn, because there's a lot of people out there that get addicted to it and it negatively affects their sex drive or their relationships, and they get stuff like erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation or something like that when they're in their 20s. So yeah, let me know.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
So there's no, it just sounds like a super general.
I don't know if those,
What's our thought on watching?
I don't know if it's
porn?
true, if it negatively affects people's sex drives.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
people have to understand that porn is entertainment and is not a good reflection of sex, like real sex. Real bedroom sex. You're gonna be really disappointed because guys can't last 1 hour long and just completely like thump all day, and
girls
not all
don't
girls
like that.
fucking like porn stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even feel good.
I think we actually talked about this in another episode one time, but there are studies that show people do become like desensitized.
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly watching stuff, visually you're less stimulated by reality because you're just constantly in it. So it can be harder to ejaculate, harder for the guy to come, and harder probably for the girl if she's doing it all the time too. But I'm not a big porn person myself, so I can't really relate.
I believe that though, because it's almost like looking at Instagram and you see all these hot girls and that's what you think the perception of beauty is supposed to be, and it's almost unachievable, like to have perfectly symmetrical photoshopped body. So if you constantly watch porn all day and that is your new reality of what sex or is supposed to be like, then when you don't achieve it in reality, then you're not getting off, so to speak, because you have an unrealistic idea of what sex is supposed to be.
I mean, I'm not against watching porn or any of that. Like, I think I actually highly recommend couples and just people in general just, watch it once in a while, just because I feel like you just get a little bit more creative. Especially if you've been having sex for a long time, then it's just like, hey, let's see what else is out there. And it's like you're kind of just seeing how other people do it. Even though it is fantasy and it is kind of over the top sometimes, it's interesting to see what people can do with their body and like other positions and other shit that they do, and you're like, oh, let me try to mimic that.
Well, what about sharing sex tapes?
What do you mean?
So if you want to, like, it's because you're saying like you want to watch people have sex, right? To
Well,
kind of get
professionals,
creative.
I think, yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty professional. I was gonna make a video soon. Put it on my YouTube channel.
I want to see like close to perfect bodies doing it.
So people you don't know?
Yeah, people I don't, please.
I
people
see.
I don't.
Oh, you think it's weird to watch people you do know have sex?
Yeah, it's super weird.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't want to see Joe having sex. I don't want to see Julia or Tommy having sex.
That's mean.
weird. That's not. Would you want to watch us have sex?
No.
You see?
I don't want to see a gorilla giraffe fuck. Well, I think anything done in like when it's excessive, it's not good. Especially, I was watching this. Fuck, I forgot which documentary it was, but there was a study in that where guys started associating sex with just beating off and watching porn. So they started achieving, their goal, which is ejaculation, watching sex, and then in relationships, it wasn't as good because they're not looking and getting visually like stimulated by the porn. They have their eyes closed and they're fucking, and it's not good enough. So they got used to their hand and like watching the positions and all that stuff, and it's like, whoa, that's crazy how you can associate the two.
And the hand can always go harder than the vagina, so it's like if you get used to just like all the
Oh man, I can't wait for the jibs.
I only had one issue in a relationship where the guy was really, really into porn, and it made it really hard for him to come, and the only way he could is if he watched porn while we had sex, or had to close his eyes and literally imagine a porn happening.
Yeah,
But
that's exactly what I'm talking
he was
about.
watching it like 3-4 times a day,
Yeah.
probably. I don't even know because I wasn't,
But was his dick like rock hard the whole time?
Not the whole time.
Yeah, because they can't get turned on by
can't.
real women.
Wow.
They associate porn with having sex to the point where like when they actually have
Can't
real
separate it.
sex, it doesn't turn them on. Yeah.
Dude, you're a trooper for being like, dude, let's do whatever we can.
You must have really liked them.
So I guess anything in moderation is always the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Hey everybody, I'm Taryn Southern, and thanks so much for having me as a guest on this episode of Ask the Feels. If you'd like to see another episode, click over here, like the video, and stay in touch with us. You can follow Ask the Feels on all the socials in the description box below, and if you want to keep in touch with me, my links are below as well. Thanks so much. Bye.
When you put it in, was it still owie wowie or was it?
Well, that's
Ooey wooey.
that second time I was very